Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. Isaiah 28:6 is key. Because I am the gate, I am also the one who sits in judgment at the gate, and God is a source of strength and justice. The spirit of justice conveyed by God through me. So when the elite take a certain stance, they give me no choice but to rule against them. When they order people to persecute me on top of all the horrible things that they're doing to the people of the world, they give me no choice but to put things a certain way that a lot of people might find very insulting. Because part of being the true messenger of God, the greatest messenger of God, is giving the message a certain way. And as they fume and poison me and change my voice, try to make it so I sound like, something, that I'm something I'm not, which is gay. They try to make it so I sound retarded and weird and all this stuff. They make it so my mic, doesn't work very well, and I go through all these different microphones and phones. Okay, they then make it so that the explanation is going to be more insulting, because that is what must be done here. And the explanation leads to extreme punishment. So if we look at the Bible, we look at Jeremiah, how he used to do things according to the book of Jeremiah to kind of convey the message from God. His behavior was a sign telling the Jews in the story that they were in trouble. And a lot of times they got angry at what he was saying. In popular culture, Isaiah is said to be sawed in half. We see what happened to Jeremiah to some degree in the book of Jeremiah, as he's treated a certain way. As they beat him up and throw him in some kind of a cistern, some kind of a well or something, if I remember correctly here, and things of this nature. And obviously, if they try to do something like that, I'm going to fight back to the death. I'm not with that nonsense. But I have a job to do here. A job from God Almighty. I don't speak in code. The things that I say are true. So it saddens me to some degree, because I know there's people in my family who don't want me to kind of rock the boat, as they say. There's people who are watching this who are hoping that I could be some kind of a social activist that people rally to, who changes the economy. There's people, you might say, who are depending on me. But my job is to serve God Almighty first and foremost. That's the bottom line. So when the governing class makes a certain move a certain way, when they do things like make it so my eyebrows look weird, so make it so I look like a gay person, they change my voice so I sound gay, they do things to cause there to be red on my lips, because they made it so I can't drink water and have to drink certain drinks so it stains my lips red. Today when I looked in the mirror, and I try not to look in the mirror too much because that's how they mock God, and generally speaking, people who would have a certain psychological effect if they saw me, generally speaking, aren't around, right? There's not too many people to try to impress in the world these days. But when I looked in the mirror, I could see that they try to make it so I look like some weird Disney occultist. If you look at things, right, look at how they changed Martin Luther King's looks, Tupac, what have you. You know that I'm telling the truth. And when you're the Son of God, it takes on new meaning. In the Bible, it says that Satan tries to cover up the image of God. And the image of God is something that you need to see in a certain context. You need to see it in me, and I'm the top martial artist ever possible. And only a dumbass would pretend that someone else is. Someone else saying that they're that is sick, and it's a joke. It's a sick joke. You need to see in the top martial artist ever possible in his natural form, not in some weird elite game-based form, as they sabotage me. So I assure you that the elite and their offspring are going to cook to the extreme. Okay, there's some kind of geeks, some kind of inbred worms with no heart. You imagine their ancestors in Africa, there's a reason why they fled to the snow and stuff like this. Because people like me would beat the dog shit out of them. They get in their face and say, who the fuck do you think's in charge? And God made that naturally. That's a pattern in nature. My soul is greater than theirs. My spirit is greater than theirs. When they die after whimpering on their deathbeds, more often than not, they get beat up again and again for eternity. Straight killers in their face. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? You're not a man. You're some kind of inbred punk that rolls with some Dionysus bitch shit, some Zeus garbage. And they get punished again and again. Like the followers of Odin and Poseidon, again and again and again. And we all know that if they try to act